Greetings, Latin 2, and so we now begin once again into some new material. Everything in this video is what you're responsible for this week. Again, as my intro video said, this is a week's worth in a video. You don't have to do it all at once. I will, of course, be in a Google Hangout if you have any questions whatsoever. The format is going to be, you're going to see the Latin up above, and then down below, I'm going to be translating sentence by sentence. Let's head in. Prope Thermas erat templum, a fabris cogitubni aedificatum. Near the baths. Prope, of course, means near. Thermas, near the baths. Erat templum. Again, my advice to you is pause this video and always try to make your own translation before you watch what I unveil for you here. Near the baths was a temple. Now we're going to have, there it is, a past participle, aedificatum, built. Aedifico, aedificare, aedificavi, aedificatus means to build, and that fourth form, when you look it up in the dictionary, built, having been built. What was it built by? The preposition means by. It can mean from or away from, but when you have a past participle, is the preposition which means built by. Built by what? The craftsman. Who's craftsman? Genitive, cogitubni, genitive singular. Built by the craftsman of cogitubnus. New sentence. Rex cogitubnus cum multis principibus servisque pro templo sedebat. King Cogitubnus. Now, I hope you've learned by now, you don't just start translating word by word. Look at the whole sentence. In this case, it might make sense to run to your verb, which you know is almost always at the end, and the whole sentence will make a lot more sense. King Cogitubnus sedebat, was sitting. And the rest of the sentence is the people with whom he was sitting and where they were sitting. King Cogitubnus was sitting cum multis principibus, with many chieftains. Don't forget, que means and. He was sitting with many chieftains and slaves. Where were they sitting? Pro templo, in front of the temple. Quintus prope cellam regis stabat. So we had prope earlier, it means near. So Quintus, run to your verb, stabat. Stabat. If you go to the dictionary, sto, stare, steti, status, to stand. Quintus was standing. Where was Quintus standing? Near. And if you look up in the dictionary, the word cella means chair. Now, stellam regis, near the chair of the king. Think for a moment, is there a better contextual translation? Where does a king sit? Yes, it's a chair, but what do we call it when a king sits in it? That's right, the throne of the king. Now, next sentence. Regem principesque manus armatorum custodiebat. Regem, the king. But look, it's accusative, so should I really start here? No. Don't, when you see an accusative as the first word of the sentence, don't translate it and then continue on. I've seen people, then they think, this makes no sense. Well, it won't make sense. You're going to have to go look instead for the subject. And regem, accusative, is not your subject. Manus armatorum is your subject, people. A band of soldiers. Now, literally, the word manus means hand, but when it describes a group of people, it's like a band of brothers or a band of thieves, something like that. So in this case, armatorum, literally armed men, a band of soldiers. What were they doing? They custodiebat. And then you have your object. Custodiebat regem principesque. Was guarding. A band of soldiers was guarding. What they were guarding is the king. Once again, que means and the chieftains. Next sentence. Pro templo. We already had that. In front of the temple. What was in front of the temple? Pro templo erat ara ingens. This is just a matter of looking up a word that maybe you've never seen before. The word ara means altar, and ingens means huge. In front of the temple was a huge altar, quam omnes aspiciebant. Whenever you have a QU word, your first instinct should be who, whom, or which. In front of the temple was a huge altar, which omnes aspiciebant. All, or everyone, were looking towards, aspiciebant. The verb is related to spectat, to watch. Whenever you have SPI and a C, it's like that means something like to look at something. Memor, comma, togam splendidam gerens, comma, prope aram stabat. Memor. Now, if you look up this verb, it means to wear. But I hope by now, when you see that NS ending, you think, just like we reviewed last week, NS, NT equals ING. Wearing. What he was wearing was togam splendidam. Take a wild guess on splendidam. That's right, splendid. Memor, comma, wearing a splendid toga, prope aram stabat. This is basically stuff we've already had in this passage. Stabat means was standing. Prope means near. And aram means altar. Was standing near the altar. Duo sacerdotes agnam nigram ducentes ad aram processerunt. Two priests, now again, NSNT equals ING. The verb duco means to lead. NTES just makes it plural. Leading. A black lamb. Agnam nigram. What did they do? They processed or proceeded to the altar. After, postquam rex signum dedit, unus sacerdos agnam sacrificavit. After the king did what? Signum dedit. After the king gave the signal. Oh, good Lord, I've got a typo here, people. I'm not going to go back and fix it right now because I'm recording these videos, but that obviously should say gave. After the king gave the signal, one priest, agnam sacrificavit, sacrificed the lamb. Deinde memor, qui iam tremebat, alteri sacerdoti, iubeote inquit omnia inspicere. Then memor, qui. Now again, as we just discussed, when you see a QU, your instinct is who, whom, or which. Then memor, who already was trembling. Now, inquit means said. And when you say something, you usually say something to someone. Here are some dative endings. So he said, alteri sacerdoti, to another priest. And then here's what he said. So feel free, by the way, whenever you have inquit in like a spot where for English we wouldn't have preferred it there, we would have preferred it to be here, right? Memor, who already was trembling, said to another priest. This is where I would like inquit to go, but that's not where Latin puts it. Feel free to move it in your translation. Feel free to say, then memor, who was already trembling, said to another priest, Eubeote, I order you. Now, I order you to do something. Whenever you have the verb eubeo, be on the lookout for an infinitive. Infinitives end in re. What I order you to do is to inspect the omens. What they did, they would sacrifice an animal, they would open it up, and they would look at things like the intestines and in particular the liver. And if there were like certain things like were different about the liver, they would interpret that to be a sign of something. I order you to inspect the omens. Dik mihi, tell me, or literally say to me. Worth reviewing, these are the irregular imperatives. Duk, dik, fak, fer. Ought to be an E, but it isn't there. Duk, to lead. Dik, to say or tell. Fak, to do or make. Fer, to bring. Dik mihi, tell me, say to me. Quid vides? What do you see?